This is Habakkuk chapter 2. We read verses 1 through 2 in the NIV. And it says, I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me and what answer I am to give to this complaint. Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tables, tablets, so that a herald may run with it. Verse 3, for the revelation, which means the revealing, awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. All praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Baruch. Peace and blessings to the elect, the listen, learning the Akim Wak Yum, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and the elder bishops. Much respect to the mighty Gabar Yum on the housing hedges, bidding Yashal to the marriage, and to the Gabar making videos of edification to wake up the lost sheep. Salutations to the less scattered abroad that be under the speckled bird. So just scanning through YouTube, measuring the time diligently, and I seen this video. This was a year ago, and going into the succession, or the the succession or growing succession of the Charagma, which is the MOTB, okay, the RFID CHIP. And soon, this will be made mandatory, where no man will be able to purchase goods, okay, supplies, food or whatever. And only the faithless will take it. So without further ado, I'm going to play this video, and I will add scriptures as well. And by the way, I'm using this video under the Free Use Act. I do not own this video or use it for monetary gain or any type of financial gain. This is strictly for educational and spiritual edification.
Technology has advanced to an extent where we use finger scans and face IDs full-fledgedly. But when it comes to implanting chips under the skin, it doesn't seem to have reached its full potential. The act still feels like a gimmick rather than a modern robotic human. And such is the scenario when this technology has already existed for many, many decades. Now, would you ever get an electronic chip under your skin? The chips planted under the skin tend to carry the RFID technology. Now, RFID, or radio frequency identification, enables technologies like tap to pay and subway cards. So in case you don't want to carry your bags and bank cards to pay, you can have such chips installed under your skin. One can also install sensors and avoid carrying keys to home and unlocking cars. But an important point to note is that such technologies do not work like how they would, for example, in a Mission Impossible film. In fact, they don't work half the time and are still a bit far from being successfully used. Another integral drawback of such
So as you've seen and heard, Israel, that they currently are still working on perfecting the CHIP, okay? We've heard, many claims and boasts of Elon Musk and this Neuralink, trying to make man immortal, okay? Talking about, things where people can play video games with just their mind, okay? These are all the miracles being exercised in the sight of the beast, all right? Promising people they can walk again, so on and so forth. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where this will be mandatory, and no one will be able to buy or sell. Shalom to Judah tribesmen. Shalom wa barakatah. So let's go into the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Not going to make this too long. Revelation 13, and so that verse 15, and this is in the NLT. It says, "He was then permitted to give life to this statue." Salaki, that's not what I wanted. Oh, no, Salaki, I'll do it. Revelation 13 and 15. "He was then permitted to give life to the statue so that it could speak. The statue of the beast commanded that anyone refusing to worship it must die." So this is speaking of the beast system, okay? The image of the beast is the beast system. It's just worded differently in the NLT. So again, it says the statue of the beast commanded that anyone refusing to worship it must die. So anyone who refuses to become one with the beast system, Esau is going to put them to death. Okay, the penalty of that is death. Verse 16 says, "He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave." So you're going to have your regular folks, you're going to have celebrities, okay? The rich, those who got money, the poor, those who don't. Free and bond means those who are in prison and those who are not. This is everyone, okay? It says to be given a mark. Now that mark in the Greek is charagma, which goes into the cutting in the flesh, okay? Which goes against the Levitical law, by the way. So again, I read verse 16 in its entirety. "He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead." Okay, so that charagma is going to be placed in the hand, whether left or right. Okay, it doesn't matter. And that mark of the forehead is going into those Neuralink brain devices, which we saw in the video. Verse 17, it says, "And no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name." Verse 18, wisdom is needed here. "Let the one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. Okay? So this is speaking of not only the image of the beast, but also the mark. Okay? And whoever takes that mark has pledged their allegiance to the wicked. This is why the scriptures tell us in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, I think it's verse 4, it says that all the unfaithful shall die in their faithfulness. Because when Yahushua returns, he's looking for faith, right? Let's go to the book of Luke. Luke chapter 18. And I'm going to jump down to verse 6. I said that sounds in the NLT as well. Luke 18 and verse 6. Yahweh's words. "Then the Lord said, learn a lesson from this unjust judge. Even he rendered a just decision in the end. So don't you think Yahweh will surely give justice to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night?" This is speaking of the elect, right? That cry out to the Lord, right? Remember the scripture says, "Mark them who sigh and cry for the abomination in the midst thereof." Okay? And that mark is going into Tawah. That's the Hebrew, okay? For the exemptment of judgment, exemptment from judgment. So that's the mark that we want, okay? Not the charagma. Luke 18 and verse 7 in its entirety. "Even he rendered a just decision in the end. So don't you think Yahweh will surely give justice to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off?" Verse 8, "I tell you, he will grant justice to them quickly. But when the Son of Man, which is Yahushua, returns," here's the point, "how many will he find on the earth who have faith?" You see that? So many will not have faith. Many will fold and take that RFID, see him. Okay? And we know the majority, you're going to have a lot of weak-ass men. But the majority are going to be women and children, unfortunately, right? The elderly. But hey, at the end of the day, the prophets have preached this, man, and prophesied. So no one can say that they didn't know. No one can say that. Okay. Let's go back to Revelation. I want to get the penalty. I think it's Revelation 15 or No, 16, 16. Revelation 16. Revelation, right here. Revelation 16. I actually like how it sounds in the NIV. Revelation 16 and verse 1. Okay, this is the penalty of those who accept the Charagma. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying to the seven angels, Go, pour out the seven bowls of Yahweh's wrath on the earth. The first angel went out and poured out his bowl on the land. Now check this out. It says, and ugly, festering sores broke out on the people who had the mark of the beast and worship its image. So those who accept the Charagma, those who pledge allegiance to Esau Edom in his beast system, that's a penalty for them. Okay. And also they're going to be thrown in that lake of fire. Let's get that real quick. Okay, because you have Christian and Catholic churches that tell you that the lake of fire is hell when you die. Okay. Let's get this real quick. Where's it? Yep, Revelation chapter 19. Okay. Where is it? Right here. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 20. It says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. Right? Those miracles going back into what? If you take this C-hip, you can walk again. If you implant this device into your body, you'll be able to access your vehicles without opening the doors manually, right? Without going into your houses with a key. So these are all part of the miracles being performed in the sight of the beast, okay? Who are to beguile those who are simple. Shh, I'm trying to teach. Get out of here. Revelation 19 and 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet was wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive. You see that? So again, Christians and Catholics say that when you die, your spirit is cast in the lake of fire. But we just read here in Revelation 19 and 20, the last part. These were both cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. So all those who accept the image of the beast, who take in the Charagma, okay, and those who created it and promoted it, they will burn in thermonuclear fire, okay? When the nukes hit Babylon the Great, that's where the lake of fire will take place, okay? That's it. So, grievous sores, all right, that lake of fire, the second death. But to the elect, to the hopeful elect, those who will stand faithful and firm to the end of the Lord, right? That will not bow down to Baal. This is what's gonna happen. That's Revelation. Well, that sounds in the NLT, by the way. Revelation 3. Give me 1 second. Revelation, the 3rd chapter. Where is it? Right here. Let's see how that sounds in the NLT. Nope. Let me see. NIV. I like this one. All right. Revelation 3 and verse 10. Yahweh's words, okay? This is the NIV. It says, since you have kept my command to endure patiently. Remember that? But he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved, right? Revelation 3 and 10, NIV. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth, right? Verse 11, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. So we're going to hold on to what? This wisdom, knowledge, understanding, which is going to keep us stable. Okay? Remaining in the secret place of the Most High and enduring to the end. Yahweh Shai said, since you have kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay? This is Romans 4, 7 through 8. To saying, blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord would not impute sin. So those whose sins are covered are those who what? Who repented and turned back to the Lord, right? Yahweh Shai said, if I had not come, then they will have a cloak for their sin. But since I have come, now they have no cloaks. So those who sin willfully, those who willfully take the Charagma, guess what? The Lord is going to destroy you. Okay? Shalom wa barakatah tachen bat gad. And again, the prophets have prophesied this time and time again. All right. But hey, you guys won't 2/3 won't take heed, man. So I'm gonna end off here with one of my favorites, Ezekiel 33 and 33. This is the NIV. Ezekiel 33, verse 33. When all this comes true, right? Because we opened up with Habakkuk 2 and 3. That revelation is set for a appointed time. Though it linger, it shall surely come. Okay? Ezekiel 32, 33 and 33. When all this comes true, that means all these prophecies, when all these prophecies, these tokens come to pass, okay? And it surely will. Then they will know that a prophet has been among them. So I pray that you will edify and warned. All praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahasham Rabakakadash. I'm going to play this video one last time, and we're going to close it out. Shalom.
Technology has advanced to an extent where we use finger scans and face IDs full-fledgedly. But when it comes to implanting chips under the skin, it doesn't seem to have reached its full potential. The act still feels like a gimmick rather than a modern robotic human. And such is the scenario when this technology has already existed for many, many decades. Now, would you ever get an electronic chip under your skin? The chips planted under the skin tend to carry the RFID technology. Now, RFID, or radio frequency identification, enables technologies like tap to pay and subway cards. So in case you don't want to carry your bags and bank cards to pay, you can have such chips installed under your skin. One can also install sensors and avoid carrying keys to home and unlocking cars. But an important point to note is that such technologies do not work like how they would, for example, in a Mission Impossible film. In fact, they don't work half the time and are still a bit far from being successfully used. Another integral drawback of such